I've realised I've been missing something in space games lately. Not the explosions, we get plenty of those. I mean that ethereal vibe. The sense of scale and mystery that the classics absolutely nailed. And space just felt like this gorgeous, hostile ocean and you were just this tiny stubborn thing trying to get by in it. And honestly, I think Masada is one of the most tantalising projects I've seen at tackling this issue in quite some time. And I've been on a bit of a space game buzz lately since the last video, Null Space, and this year I really want to keep these indie projects front and centre for you guys. Because honestly, it feels like they're the ones doing things slightly differently. They'll take weird swings, mash genres together, and chase a feeling rather than just a checklist. Alright everyone, Tom here from LT Gaming, and today we're taking a look at Masada. I'll pop the Steam link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But I gotta say, the setup is properly tasty with this one. Civilization is trapped in Masada, this vast exotic nebula, far from any star system, and humanity's been stuck there for thousands of years. In that time, it's splintered into drastically different cultures, humble nomads just trying to survive, powerful empires pushing for total domination, and yep, we even got black hole worshipping theocracies, which objectively is unhinged but makes a lot of sense in the world of today. The tone is very much survival is constant, space is brutal, and you have to carve out a place in the middle of it. But let's get into it. What are you doing minute to minute in this game? Well, Masada is pitched as a single player, joy for some of you, open world space sandbox with RTS roots and RPG-ish progression, meaning you don't just load things into neat little missions, you're going to be moving through a continuous space, hunting opportunities and dealing with whatever is thrown at you. The key idea, and this is the part I'm most interested in, is the world isn't meant to revolve around you. Ships and pilots are going to be doing their own thing in the background, mining, trading, travelling, fighting, and you get to choose when you're going to be involved. So you might shadow a trade route, show up mid-fight and roll into a debris field and start hoovering up the aftermath like a nice little space vulture. And then you turn that into progression. Better modules, better ships, better options, and you repeat the cycle. Explore, spot some opportunity, commit, get paid, and then tune up your fleet. And I love that it's not going to lock you just into the one fantasy. If the systems hold up and you can play this as a trader, pirate, industrial builder, mercenary, whatever suits your mood that day. Right, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about fleets because this is where the game starts to look dangerous in the best way possible. The pitch is there's going to be a wide range of ships, from smaller fast craft to clunky capital ships, and the interesting part is they seem to lean into roles, not just bigger ship equals bigger win. So you're thinking, how much damage do I do? You're thinking, who's my brawler line, my long range artillery, my missile boat? And there's also quite a bit of chatter around support play, ships that keep others alive, carriers that can cycle smaller craft, so a sort of combined arms fleet management approach. And look, I'm a simple guy. If a game lets me build a fleet where every ship will have a job and losing the wrong one collapses the whole plan, I'm interested. Now coming on to the bit that's going to tie all of this together, the simulation side. And what they're chasing is that the best moments are not going to be scripted, they're going to be the ones you stumble into. A skirmish that's already kicked off, a convoy trying to slip through dangerous space, maybe a miner limping home with some valuable ore. And you decide whether it's worth saving them, robbing them, or maybe just watching from a respectful distance. And this is where the classic space game stories come from, in my opinion. Not Quest 12, kill 5 pirates, but I followed the wrong ship, picked the wrong fight, and somehow crawled out richer and slightly traumatized along the way. And tying into this will be the parts where everything collides, the combat. The dream is readable chaos. A lot happening, but you still feel like you're in charge. Positioning, target priority, keeping your support ships alive, cycling your craft, maybe committing your heavy hitters at the right moment. There's also the promise of bigger threats, the kind of world boss moments that will give you long-term goals beyond just hoarding your cash. Build up, prepare the fleet, take the fight, and if you win, you're going to come away with something genuinely special. Progression wise, the loop seems built around upgrading through what you find, craft, and trade for, or maybe steal, and then turning each expedition into either a power spike or possibly a lesson in humility. And if they can nail this, where each upgrade opens a new style of play rather than just bigger numbers, this game could be dangerously Moorish. Now, I've been digging through the Discord and I'd highly encourage you guys to join if you have an interest in this game, but I really respect how the devs are communicating there. They've been pretty blunt, they're careful with timelines and promises because they have messed that up in the past, and they say they've learnt the hard way how being a game dev actually works. Now they say they're also getting closer, they've got a playtest build floating around, and a big checklist of things that need attention. but once that's ticked off, they want to try their first proper release. They're also potentially talking about doing a free demo, and they admit it might be a bit janky, not as marketing, but as public playtesting. So an open sandbox where you can throw bodies at it and see if the systems hold up for themselves, or maybe get all those weird problems that you'll never catch just internally. Now, for a bit of sense of the scale they're going for, they've mentioned they've got around 65 ships planned, and expecting around 70 once all the small factions are in. So clearly there's a lot being worked on behind the scenes. Okay, time for a bit of honesty, the pros and the cons. So what looks promising to me? The vibe and setting, that isolated nebula, the fractured cultures, the weirdness, it's exactly the flavour of sci-fi I've been missing. Also gotta say the simulation sandbox angle seems really intriguing, the world can move on without you, and you can get proper emergent stories. And then we've got the whole fleet toy box vibe, roles, support play, carriers, custom builds, the stuff that keeps strategy fans like me hooked. Now what I'm watching closely, performance. When the fights get big, ambition is lovely, but the UI, everything has to keep up when the game has to actually run. Then also AI behaviour and pacing. In a sandbox, this is critical. It needs to have purpose and not just completely random. Then finally, how are they going to bring you into the game? Because games like this live and die on whether players understand all the mechanics, why they lost, and not just what happened. Alright, if you want to keep up with Masada, I'll leave the link to the Steam description below and also their Discord. If the demo drops, I'm very up for doing a follow-up where we treat it like a field test. What's going to sing, what breaks, and whether it's got that classic space game magic that I think it might have. Now I'm genuinely curious on this one. How hyped are you for this game? Are you going to play Trader, Pirate, or Empire Builder? Chuck it in the comments and I'll look through them. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye now.